Welcome to February 10th, 2024 Fallon Housing Market Update. So, Fallon is actually becoming a really hot marketplace. We're starting to see a lot of development just from the government developing. There's a big expansion of the base happening right now. Even the developers who are usually investing in the valley know it. And there's a lot of groundbreaking happening with new construction, master plan communities. And of course, the affordability is unmatched for most everywhere else compared in Northern Nevada. So keep an eye out for Fallon. I know a lot of our business right now are job transfers. The government is transferring active duty military to the Fallon marketplace. So they are often moving right now either in Fallon or Fernley, just because Fernley is a quick commute if they choose not to live in Fallon. So keep an eye out for Fallon. Fallon, Fernley, one of the biggest developing opportunities happening in the marketplace right now. Plus, with Fernley having their big expansion of the Reno Tahoe Industrial Center, there's going to be some big things coming in the Fernley and Fallon marketplace. So let's dive into the prices right now. Fallon median price 355, up just a little bit from this time last year. If you look at the overall trend, besides some volatility, we're not really seeing big upward trends of Fallon prices. If you kind of look there, it's pretty level. We're not really seeing you've seen graphs on my reports how some have downward trends, upward trends. You can see it's pretty level right now and only 9%, but that could just be the set of inventory that's sold. So let's just call it middle 300s if you are actively buying, but median price as of this week, 355. Closed units for single family homes, not manufactured, 2 sold this time last week. So Fallon is still a very small town. So there's still going to be a small amount of data of homes moving. You can see on a busy month, the busiest units this year were upwards of 12. And then every time thereafter, about under 10 homes per month. So there are still that quietness of the Fallon marketplace, but make no mistake, I listed one a month ago and we had showings very quickly, and that property was pending in 2 days. So when a home is priced correctly in the Fallon marketplace, it does sell, and a lot of that has to do with affordability. You can buy a very, very nice home in Fallon in these mid 300s, and where you'd be $200,000 higher here in the valley. But do expect some low activity and sellers. It really just depends on what's going on in the neighborhood. Be aware of your competition. Remember, when you're marketing a property, you're marketing to compete. Keep an eye on those neighbors. See what they're up to. See how long it took them to accept offers on homes. If you're price spot on, with all of the job transfers coming here, there's a lot of active buyers who are on timelines as well. Remember, a lot of these transfers are living in motels. So they are anxious buyers in the marketplace and want and ready to move. And they write strong offers and negotiate in strong ways because they don't want to live in the motel. They want to own a home. Pending sales, one of my favorite real-time graphs. You can see right now, actually, even though it looks level, right at the end there, about the middle of December, an uptick trend. You kind of start seeing more and more activity in the marketplace. Yes, those ebbs and flows always happen with weekly data, but right on the right-hand side there, upward activity. So the market is getting more and more active. Makes sense with the more buyers being transferred to the Fallon marketplace. And a lot of sellers, because of that mild winter, it's always generally drier in Fallon compared to the valleys, but we've had an exceptionally dry winter. So it's been a really nice season in Fallon. And I sold one of my most recents was right around the end of December, and buyers were out and they were really active. That escrow went right through the holiday season without a hitch. And again, it's because of job transfers. The military does not factor in seasonality when transferring active duty members to bases. So we have a big influx right now happening in the Fallon marketplace. Median days of contract. So you can see some massive volatilities. A lot of that does kind of reflect the small amount of inventory. If you have a seller that accidentally overpriced her home and might be a little more firm about price reductions if they overshot the marketplace, that's where you'll start seeing a lot of this daily. You get one house that sat for longer than it should have, and it'll throw off the whole neighborhood when you're only talking about 2 to 5 homes a week selling. That's what you're seeing here. So right now, the latest data is 16 days, very, very similar to Lyon County. And but if you look overall, besides the big volatility, which I question that might be a lot of end of the year holiday type swings in days on market, pretty level. We're not really seeing a lot of downward trend on this line. no upward trend, pretty consistent at those numbers. So if you look at overall data, a good amount of the homes were taking over a month to sell, but it looks like on the most recent stuff, it's on the lower end because we have seen as low as a week to 2 weeks in the Fallon marketplace for the homes that did sell. But it also shows that the new listings are coming out correct. That's the one thing that you'll notice there is if we're having such small data like this, where it's like 2 to 5 homes, and the days on market just drop really quick. What that really means is new homes hit the marketplace and they hit the marketplace correctly and didn't have to do price reductions. So they started on the right path, and that's going to really change the data when you're dealing with a small data set. So 16 days right now. So homes after 2 weeks on the marketplace, I question if that means huge buyer opportunities because it's such a small amount. I would say probably in the Fallon marketplace, homes under 30 days, probably not necessarily yet overpriced. And then once you start hitting the 2 months, then the market is speaking that that home is probably overpriced. And it might be an opportunity for negotiations. Or if you're a seller and you've passed the 30-day mark, it's probably time for you to reconsider your marketing price. The buyers have spoken, they've made a decision, and they've moved on to other homes. Available homes in the marketplace. So right now, 45 homes in the greater Fallon area, down a little bit from this time last year, 15% down, but it's only about 8 homes. So I don't really consider that big of a deal when you're talking about an entire town and area. So pretty consistent, but take a look at the big swing in behaviors, right? We had a very bottom of the market in the summer, very minimal inventory this summer, climbed pretty quickly all the way up to the holiday season. And then now that inventory is starting to get absorbed. Actually, not quite at the pace of last year. So last year, if you notice kind of that inventory height right around March, and then it really started getting absorbed very quickly or came off the market, depending on the seller. This time, not the case, kind of a slow, steady decline of absorption of inventory. But you also saw those days on market at 16 is a lot of those new listings probably didn't really make this data. They hit the market, they were priced correctly, they sold. Remember, these are unsuccessful sales. These are homes sitting, not selling. These are not pending properties. So what this shows me is that properties are starting to get absorbed, which is great to hear. Maybe sellers are starting to do price reductions. Just depends on the home and their marketing strategy. But a slow downward trend, which also tells me that that's going to make for a strong marketplace because we should be seeing big, 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 huge swings in inventory to predict any market crashes. Clearly not the case here. There's not enough inventory to even consider those type of things. We'd have to see massive jumps in inventory to start considering price crashes and things like that. That's a supply and demand conversation, not near enough supply for that discussion to come up right now. And lastly, new listings, kind of the forecast of what's to come in the marketplace. So we're not seeing big amounts of inventory hit the market. That's always a little concerning because that can make for a very, very low inventory in the spring and summer peak seasons. So folks that are considering moving out of the area, we're kind of coming into that main thing. So I hope to see a nice jump of new listings here. We are coming into season that typically means an increase of available inventory. But right now you can see even the ebbs and flows of the weekly data. Notice how it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller as you look left to right. So we're actually not adding as many homes to the market as we even did last year. And last year wasn't enough added homes to the market. So we still have a good inventory shortage of marketable properties in the Fallon marketplace. I'm optimistic that as things start to warm up and everybody's plants start to bloom and we go into season, we'll see some more sellers hit the marketplace, more selection for our folks relocating to the Fallon area, active duty members, folks like that. But right now, pretty quiet for new listings. So that does kind of forecast a minimal March month, but hopefully in these next upcoming weeks, I know one of my team members is listing a home in Fallon again as well. Hopefully they'll start seeing a lot more selection for the buyers moving to the area. So that's the latest right now in the Fallon marketplace. For the latest insight, tips, and market updates for the Northern Nevada real estate market, be sure to hit subscribe. We'll do weekly updates to keep you informed of what's the latest. Also be sure to explore our Northern Nevada house search.